Then the promptness of decision. Now, nobody can be very well liked and have a very pleasing personality who always puts off making a decision when he has all of the facts before him and ought to make the decision right on the spot. I don't mean by that you should go off half-cocked or should render snap judgments, but when they have all of the facts and the time has arrived for a decision, get in the habit of making those decisions. And if you make one that's wrong, you can always reverse it. And don't be too big or too little to reverse yourself when you find out that you should reverse yourself. There's a great advantage in being fair enough with yourself and with the other fellow to reverse yourself if you've made the wrong decision. And of course, I don't need to make much comment on number 13, faith in infinite intelligence. You know what your faith is there. You should rate very high. If you are following your religion, whatever it is, faithfully, you should rate very high on that one. But you'd be surprised how many people there are that give lip service to this question of faith and infinite intelligence and don't do very much about outside of lip service. And this lip service is not so loud that you can hear it very far away. They don't indulge in any very outstanding acts backing up their alleged belief in infinite intelligence. I don't know how the Creator feels about it, but you know, I believe that an ounce of acts is worth 1,000,000 tons of good intentions or belief. Just one act. Number 14, appropriateness of words. Free from slang and wisecracks and profanity. I never saw an age when people indulge in so many wisecracks, slang statements, double talk, and all that sort of thing is now. And it may seem smart to the fellow who's doing it, but it's not smart to the fellow who's listening. He may laugh at it, but he's not going to be impressed with the fellow that engages too much in these wisecracks. Smart sayings. Appropriateness of words. Our English language is not the easiest thing in the world to conquer or to master, but it is a beautiful language. It has a wide range of words, meanings, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to control the English language so that you can convey to the other fellow precisely what you have in your mind or what you want him to think you have in mind, what you want him to know. Then the controlled enthusiasm. You'd say, well, why controlled enthusiasm? Why not turn it loose and let it run riot? Well, just because you'll get in danger, into trouble if you do. Your enthusiasm ought to be handled very much like you handle your electricity. Now, it's a very wonderful thing. It washes dishes, washes your clothes, runs the toaster, maybe cooks your food on the stove, does a lot of things, but you handle it with care. And you turn it on when you want it and then turn it off when you don't want it. Your enthusiasm should be handled with just as much care. You turn it on when you want to turn it on, and then you can just as quickly turn it off. If you're not able to turn it off as quickly as you turn it on, somebody will come along and get you all enthused over something that you ought not to be enthused over. Did you ever hear that happening? And boy, what a sucker you will be at that time for his prey, whatever he wants to do. You can be too enthusiastic with the other fellow where you wear him out. Wear him out pulling down his metal shades and resisting you. I have had salesmen come around so enthusiastic that I wouldn't let them in my place a second time because I didn't want to go to the trouble of defending myself against them. I've heard some speakers, I've heard some preachers like that too. I wouldn't want to follow them because I had too much trouble resisting them. Now don't get any notions. You know the type I'm talking about, the fellow that just absolutely turns his enthusiasm battery loose and goes off and leaves it. And all you can do is to run away from it or try and turn it off. And now the man that does that's not going to be popular, but the man who can turn on his enthusiasm at the right time, the right amount, and then turn it off at the right time, that's the man that's going to be considered to have a pleasing personality. And incidentally, if you're not able to exude enthusiasm when you want to, you certainly are not going to be considered a pleasing personality, because there are times when you definitely need it. In teaching or in lecturing or in speaking or in ordinary conversation or in selling or almost anything that you're doing in human relationships requires a certain amount of enthusiasm at times. And enthusiasm is one of those things you can cultivate. It's just like all these other qualities. There's only one quality in here that you can't cultivate. I'll see if you can find it. This was the one that Andrew Carnegie said he could give you every one of the others except that one.
Personal magnetism.
Personal magnetism, that's right, exactly. You've got just so much of that, even that's subject to control and to transmutation too. But that's something that one person can't give to another. Now, controlled enthusiasm, and then good, clean sportsmanship. Being a sportsman about everything. You're not going to win all the time in life. Nobody can do that. There are going to be times when you lose. When you lose gracefully and graciously. Lose and say, well, I lost, but maybe it's the best thing that I did because I'm going to start looking immediately for that seed of an equivalent benefit, and next time, when time comes to lose, I'm going to let somebody else lose. So I'm going to wise myself up. And then don't take it too seriously, no matter what it is. You know, during the Depression, I had 4 of my friends commit suicide. About 2 of them jumped off of tall buildings. One of them shot himself, and another one took poison because they lost their money. And the 2 of them, at least, I lost twice as much as they did. And I didn't jump off in the building. I didn't shoot myself. I didn't poison myself. What did I do? I said, well, it's a blessed fine thing because losing this amount of money, now I'll have to start in and earn some more. And then earning some more, I'll learn some more. There's my mental attitude toward it, was that I started immediately looking for that seed of an equivalent. It didn't disturb me in the least. And I said to myself, if I lose every penny that I have, my last suit I have, even my BVDs, I can always get a barrel from somebody and start in all over again. Wherever I can get a bunch of people together to listen, I'll be able to start making money. Now, you can't. How are you going to down a person with that kind of an attitude? No matter how many times he's defeated, he'll come right up again, just like a cork. You can put him down in the water, but he can bounce up the moment you take your hand off of him. And if you don't take your hand off, he'll make you take it off. And then this one down here, number 17, common courtesy. Oh, what a marvelous thing that is. Just common, ordinary garden variety of courtesy toward everybody. People, especially toward people that are obviously on a lower plane socially or economically or financially than yourself. What a wonderful thing it is to be courteous to the person to whom you don't have to be courteous. It's a wonderful thing. It does something to the other fellow and it does something to you. I always hate to see anybody lording it over another person. Nothing gets me upset quicker than to go into a restaurant and have some newly rich or somebody come in and start ordering the waiters around and abusing them. Even sometimes they may deserve it, but I have never learned to like that. I've always thought that anybody that would abuse another person in public, with or without a cause, had something wrong with his machinery, and there's something he's missing in life, and you want to be sure that there is something he's missing. I remember so well when I was living at the Bellevue Stratford Hotel in Philadelphia on that famous trip when I went there to get my publisher the first time. One of the waiters spilled some hot soup right on the back of my neck. And I mean, it burned me too. Well, the head waiter ran over, and a little while the manager of the hotel was out there, and he wanted to get a doctor. I said, well, it's not that serious after all. The waiter spilled a little soup. If he hadn't spilled it, I'd have gone down my neck. Now, maybe I won't have to take it. Well, he said, we'll have your suit cleaned, and we'll do this, we'll do that, and do that. I said, no, just don't get upset. I'm the one to get upset, and I'm not getting upset about it. And that waiter afterward, after he was off duty, he came up to my room and he said, I want to tell you how much I appreciated what you said. You could have had me fired. He said, I was just as good as fired, and if you hadn't talked about the way you did, I'd have been out. And he said, I couldn't afford to be fired. Well, I don't know how much good it did the waiter, but it did me a lot of good to know that after all, there was a man I could have humiliated.